Okay, well, good afternoon, folks. It is 1:30 in the afternoon, July 10th, 2025, bringing the zoning administrator hearing to order. Clerk, do we have a determination of legal notice?
All items on the agenda have been properly noticed.
Okay, great. We're going to move straight into our first item on the agenda, which is case AP 2019-0106 for Matthew Kuhn and Agent Javier Rao, and our staff planner is Jamie Henry. May I have your presentation?
Yes. The proposed cultivation would take place within an existing clearing on the southern portion of the parcel, which already includes a greenhouse, 2 water storage tanks, and a 3,700 square foot drying and processing facility. No additional tree removal or site disturbance is proposed, and the cultivation area meets all minimum setback requirements. The parcel also contains a residence and 2 accessory structures. The general plan land use designation is forest lands, which allows for uses compatible with timber production. Cannabis cultivation, when conducted in compliance with Mendocino County Code Sections 10A.17 and 20.242, is considered a compatible use within the TPZ zoning district. The parcel is accessed via Comchi-Ukiah Road, a maintained county road, and receives fire protection from Comchi Community Services District. Referral agencies submitted no objections, but the Code Enforcement Division has an active case BI 2022-0220 with a notice of violation lien for several unpermitted structures related to cannabis cultivation. A condition of approval has been included requiring the applicant to legalize or remove these structures within 180 days and schedule a site inspection within 90 days of permit approval. An archaeological survey was completed and approved by the Archaeological Commission on May 14, 2025, and the standard discovery clause has been included as a condition. Staff recommends approval of this administrative permit subject to the proposed conditions of approval.
Okay, great, thank you. And it does not appear that we have a representative of the application, as we have no attendees on Zoom and we have no members of the public in the room. So I'm going to open and subsequently close the public hearing and bring it back to the zoning administrator. I've reviewed the staff report and the resolution for this item, and I will approve the project subject to the findings and conditions contained within the resolution. And moving to our next item on the agenda, which is AP 2024-0023 for Michael Adams Jr. and Agent Lisa Lai. Sorry if I butchered that. And our staff planner is Jamie Henry. Please go ahead.
This proposed cultivation would occur within 14 hoop houses, each measuring 20 by 50 feet for a total mature canopy area of 8,750 square feet with an additional area designated for immature plants. The project site is a 113-acre parcel in the Timberland Production Zone and is designated forest lands under the Mendocino County General Plan. The cultivation area is situated on relatively flat terrain within an existing area, minimizing environmental disturbance and preserving forested land. The operation will rely primarily on solar power with backup gas generators as needed, and water will be supplied from an on-site solar-powered well. The applicant has a pending cannabis cultivation business license with the Mendocino Cannabis Department, which will be issued with a compliance plan pending approval of this administrative permit. As part of that plan, all expired hoop house building permits, numbered BU 2021-2272 through BU 2021-2285, must be reinstated or reapplied for and finalized prior to any commercial cannabis use. The Building Division has requested a condition of approval to this effect, and I have incorporated that into my recommended conditions. The property is located within the state responsibility area for fire protection and will be subject to CAL FIRE regulations, including fire safe access and vegetation clearance. The application was reviewed for compliance with the Mendocino County Code, including MCC sections 20.192020 and 20.242040, as well as applicable zoning and general plan policies. The project qualifies for a categorical exemption under section 15304, which consists of minor alterations of land. In summary, this project reflects a compatible use of forest land located and designed in a way that preserves the integrity of the TPZ district. With the recommended conditions, the project meets all applicable findings and is not anticipated to result in any significant impacts to the environment or surrounding community and is recommended for approval.
Great, thank you very much. So again, I would normally turn to the applicant at this point, but seeing that we have no members of the public on Zoom or in the room, I will also open and subsequently close the public hearing and bring it back to the zoning administrator. Thank you, Jamie, again for your staff report and the resolution. I've reviewed both and will approve this project subject to the findings and conditions contained within the resolution. And moving to our third item on the agenda, we have AP 2025-0008 for owner applicant Don Banks and our staff planner, Jamie Henry. Go ahead.
The temporary use of the RV is proposed for the duration of an ongoing construction project involving the installation of a new manufactured home under active building permit BU 2024-0110. The temporary occupancy would not exceed a period of 2 years. The .17 acre parcel is zoned C1 or limited commercial with a general plan designation of commercial. Although the property is zoned for commercial use, residential development is allowed and temporary RV occupancy is in support of residential construction is specifically permitted under Mendocino County Code section 20.168.025. The RV will be fully self-contained, meaning it includes onboard water, sewer, and power systems and will not rely on permanent utility connections without prior approval. Its use is intended to provide the owner on-site accommodations to facilitate the construction process. The parcel is served by Brook Trails Community Services District, which provides public water, sewer, and fire protection. Access to the site is via Madrone Drive. During the project review, a referral was sent out to other agencies. The Department of Transportation recommended conditions related to access improvements, including the installation of a field entrance and driveway approach meeting county standards, and obtaining an encroachment permit for work within the right-of-way, the county right-of-way. The building division confirmed that a building permit has been issued for the manufactured home and noted that any electrical service to the RV other than the generator proposed must meet 2022 California Electrical Code requirements. The Airport Land Use Commission determined that the project lies within Zone D, where single-family residential uses are permitted, and therefore no further review is required. The Sherwood Valley Band of Pomo Indians submitted a comment indicated that they have no further input at this time, but requested to be contacted in the event of an inadvertent discovery of cultural resources, as they are the most likely descendants for the area. No grading or vegetation removal is proposed as part of the temporary RV use, and the unit will be sited to avoid sensitive areas. Staff finds that the project is consistent with the Mendocino County General Plan and Zoning Code and qualifies for a categorical exemption under Section 15303 as it involves only minor temporary use of land and no permanent structures or significant environmental impacts. Staff recommends approval of this administrative permit subject to the conditions of approval outlined in the resolution.
Okay, thank you, Jeannie. And once again, seeing we have no members of the public on Zoom or in the room, I will both skip the applicant's comment period and open and close the public hearing and bring it back to the zoning administrator. So thank you again for the staff report and the resolution. I've reviewed all the conditions and the staff report and will approve this project subject to the findings and conditions within the resolution. Okay. Moving to our next item, we have AP 2025-0010, which is which is for owner Timothy Toner and applicant Mendo Greens LLC, and our staff planner Jamie Henry. Please go ahead.
This project is located on a 160-acre parcel, approximately 2.9 miles southeast of Percy, accessed via Malcolm's Road. The property is zoned the timberland production zoning and carries a forest land designation under the general plan. The proposed cultivation will occur within 10 20 by 50 foot greenhouses situated on a previously disturbed bench area of the parcel. Supporting structures include a 30 by 50 foot metal building for drying and harvest storage and 5 agricultural storage sheds. Water will be supplied from an existing permitted on-site well powered by a solar pump with a backup generator, and the applicant has indicated plans to expand renewable energy use in the future. Solid waste will be self-hauled and sanitation will be provided by portable toilets. No residential occupancy is proposed, though 2 off-site employees will access the site regularly. The project is consistent with the general plan designation of forest land, which allows for limited uses where compatible with the preservation of timber resources. The cultivation area has been carefully located to avoid steep slopes and is intended to consolidate and relocate previous cultivation sites into a single lower impact location. The parcel lies within a state responsibility area and is designated as a high fire hazard severity zone. As such, the project is subject
Sorry, that was my computer.
is subject to fire safety standards under Public Resource Code sections 4290 and 4291. Conditions of approval will ensure defensible space, emergency access, and adequate water availability for fire suppression. All proposed development falls within a single contiguous TPZ zone parcel and complies with applicable standards outlined in Mendocino County Code section 20.068 and 20.242. While the site previously had 10 hoop house permits associated with it, those permits expired in January of 2022 and will need to be resubmitted for review under the current building code prior to any construction. Conditions of approval will require that valid building permits be obtained and finalized for all proposed structures. Staff finds that the project is consistent with the Mendocino County General Plan and Zoning Code, applicable development standards for TPZ lands, and agency referrals were circulated and no significant concerns were raised. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the administrative permit subject to the conditions outlined in the resolution.
Great, thank you, Jamie. So again, seeing no members of the public on Zoom and or in the room, I will skip applicant's statement and also open and subsequently close the public hearing and bring it back to the zoning administrator. I've reviewed the staff report and the findings and conditions of approval within the resolution and will approve the project subject to the findings and conditions within the resolution. Okay, continuing on with our agenda. Next we have AP 2025-0011, which is for 13771 Hopland LLC. Applicant is Gateway Mendocino, and our staff planner is Jamie Henry. Go ahead.
The project under consideration is a administrative permit for temporary events to be held at Gateway Mendocino, located at 13771 US Highway 101 in Hopland. The applicant proposes to host community-oriented events on 2 separate weekends during the 2025 calendar year, including July 24th through 27th and September 12th through 14th. In support of these events, the nearby parcel at 140 McMillan Drive will be used exclusively for overflow parking. Both parcels are privately owned and no permanent improvements are proposed. All structures, signage, and facilities will be temporary in nature and removed following each event. The event site is situated on a property historically known as the Solar Living Center. The site contains existing infrastructure suitable for public assembly, including landscaped areas, open-air exhibits, and shaded gathering spaces. The site has an on-site well for water and existing power infrastructure and is available to support vendor needs, lighting, and amplified sound. Sanitation will be provided via a combination of existing facilities and portable restrooms. The event property is designated as rural community and commercial in the Mendocino County General Plan and zoned C2 or general commercial. The overflow parking parcel is designated in zone suburban residential. While the suburban residential designation primarily supports residential uses, temporary overflow parking for nearby approved events may be found compatible with appropriate limitations. No structural development will occur on either parcel, and all activities are consistent with the temporary nature of the use. It is important to note that a large portion of the primary event site is located within a FEMA-designated AE floodway. However, the project has been designed to avoid impacts to flood-prone areas. No permanent improvements are proposed, and all event infrastructure will be temporary and removed after each event. Several agency and public comments were received during review. Notably, the Hopland Municipal Advisory Council, or HMAC, expressed concern regarding pedestrian safety, particularly due to the lack of marked crosswalks on McMillan Drive and Mountain House Road and proximity to Chanel Valley Academy. HMAC strongly recommended that traffic control measures be required as a condition of approval. In response to that, a condition has been included requiring the applicant to prepare and implement a traffic control and pedestrian safety plan for each event, ensuring that trained personnel manage crossings and that traffic flow is coordinated to avoid conflicts with school operations. Based on the temporary nature of the events, the project's consistency with land use and zoning regulations, and the implementation of safety and operational conditions, staff recommends approval of the administrative permit subject to the findings and conditions included in the resolution.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jamie. One question for you. So it looks like they've just included the dates for this year. Is this permit just a one-year permit that they're requesting?
Yes, they originally applied with several dates that were for up to 4 events.
Mm-hmm.
However, those dates have already passed.
Understood. Okay. Understood. Okay, great. Well then, I think the only thing that I would want to do is just, actually I guess we don't need to add a condition because I believe our code already covers it that they expire, administrative permits expire 1 year after granting unless otherwise specified. So,
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so moving on with our hearing here, I'm going to go ahead and open and close the public hearing, noting that we have no members of the public on Zoom or in person, and bring it back to the zoning administrator. Thank you, Jamie, again for your staff report and the resolution. I've reviewed the staff report, resolution, and findings, and will approve the project subject to the findings and conditions contained within the resolution. Okay, and to our last item on the agenda, which is AP 2025-0013, which is for owner James and Gloria McCutcheon and applicant Verizon Wireless. And we will go ahead and turn it over to you, Jamie.
The applicant, Verizon Wireless, represented by Crown Castle USA Incorporated and agent Billy Shondy, proposes to replace antennas and related equipment on an existing, previously approved telecommunications tower. Specifically, the scope of work includes removal and installation of equipment. All new equipment being installed is on the existing tower and within the previously developed ground lease area. No expansion of the tower's height or footprint is proposed. The proposed upgrade is to improve service capacity and accommodate evolving wireless technologies such as 4G, LTE, and 5G without creating new visual or environmental impacts. The project is categorically exempt from environmental review under CEQA guidelines section 15301, existing facilities, as the work involves minor alterations to an existing structure with no expansion of use. The project is consistent with the general plan, zoning regulations, and design standards for wireless facilities and meets the findings required under Mendocino County Code section 20.192.020 for approval of an administrative permit. No objections were received from referring agencies and no concerns have been raised by neighboring property owners. Given that the project does not propose any significant impacts and remains within the scope of the original facility's approval, staff recommends approval of the administrative permit with conditions included in the resolution.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So again, we have no members of the public on Zoom or in the room, so I will open and close the public hearing and bring it back to the zoning administrator. And this project is very straightforward, so I'm going to go ahead and approve the project subject to the findings and conditions contained within the resolution. Okay, and with that, we're on to item 4 on our agenda, which is matters from staff. Are there any matters from staff?
No.
Seeing none. Okay, any matters from the public? Seeing that we have no members of the public on Zoom or in the room, I will go ahead and adjourn the meeting at 1:49 p.m.
All right.
Yeah, sorry, I checked because I was like, nobody's on.